but all right, but I'm good.
Venmo this girl with that vague, strange comment that you demand to make. Brenda, what were you saying before?
Man, I wasn't saying shit, man. I wasn't. Me and Mike were.
Me and Mike talking shit, huh?
No, me and Mike were talking about just our favorite sketch comedy stuff going on, and who cares? Now, this is probably.
I care.
What? No, but I don't want to talk about it. I find it useless, and we've already covered it. And I'm more interested.
That's true.
I'm more interested in the intricacies of life, you know, the weird stuff, like in between I like to get in between the toes. A lot of girls will say, suck on my toes. I say, I'll suck on the area where there are no toes. You know what I mean? I'll suck in between the
of toes. Jazz, bro.
Jazz.
That's jazz sex.
Yeah.
Is the dick I'm not sucking.
So orgasms you're not getting. You're with one of the finest jazz sexists of all time. It's the space between pleasure.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's the times when you're not coming.
We gotta do a mic check, man. Hang on a minute.
You sound great to me.
Yeah, man. Every time you're not
I'm
coming,
peeking, man.
That's you coming.
Yeah.
10, 9,
and
8,
if you
7,
can't
6,
understand
5,
that,
4,
you don't
3,
get
2,
jazz.
10, 9. I don't
them.
think this thing's recording.
Yeah, Mike, this thing's recording for roughly a minute and 20 seconds.
Hello. Look at this. I could do all the. I changed everything, right?
Well, don't. I wouldn't have done that.
Yeah. King Peak.
I wouldn't have recommended that. Yeah, Twin Peaks.
King Peak. Twin Peaks.
King Peak.
Yeah,
Twin Peak.
Yeah, man. It's a rapping day for Greg. Sometimes you get a rapping day for Greg.
Sometimes it's a rapping day.
Greg's just rapping all day.
Y'all is wild.
My favorite.
What's up, Mike?
My favorite restaurant is Twin Peaks.
You're doing restaurants now?
Because it's
Man, let the man talk, you psychopath.
You didn't. First of all, I'm just saying a thing. I don't even know what that means. What are we doing? Restaurants now?
Yeah.
You said you were rapping all day. I didn't hear a rap, so I started talking. I'm sorry. God forgive me.
I just wish someone had told me this was a restaurant chat.
Hey, you got to give Greg a heads up about a restaurant chat.
Restaurant chat commencing.
Hit me.
And it's quick. Not a lot of points here.
Take your time.
No. Unravel it.
Well, it would have been better if you just said, let it flow like a river and pass on by.
Let's do a reset. Yo, it's a rap day? What's Brennan talking about?
So strong, man.
Yeah, man.
It's a rap day. It's a rap day for you, and I'm aware of that.
Right.
I'm going to have difficulty not rhyming during this episode.
Right.
Brendan wants to do a restaurant chat.
That's why I was trying to flow. I was trying to bring the flow back to him. That's why I was recreating, right?
Yeah,
it was a rap day?
Oh, by the way, I love a rap day.
So sharp.
I just had a spontaneous thought about a restaurant. I think Twin Peaks is the best restaurant because already Hooters is just a shit idea for a restaurant where you're going like, this is for a guy that doesn't have the balls to go to a strip club. You know what I mean? And then Twin Peaks is literally goes, we're just going to be Hooters. Like, we're going to steal Hooters and just be Hooters. That's crazy. To steal the idea of an already shitty idea and run with it like you invented it. The balls on Twin Peaks.
I've never seen a Twin Peaks. This is the first I'm hearing of a Twin Peaks.
And I would stand with Anthony and say, as far as reality goes, Twin Peaks only exists in the Brendan verse.
No, they came into. Now I've seen a few of them on the road, not quite knowing what they were, but they came into national prominence. Mike, maybe you can pull up an article on this. There was a biker shootout in the parking lot of a Twin Peaks. And that was great.
What? Hang on. Let Daddy take a look. Hang on.
Let the boys peruse.
Whoa.
Nothing wrong with a little peruse.
So instead of the
winter hat.
Yeah, so instead of the Hooters, Mike's put up a picture. Instead of the Hooters sort of orange short tank tops, they go with sort of a more of a sexy lumberjack look. They've got these very short khakis and then tied up flannel shirts. In fact, now that I see this picture, better than Hooters. But I can't back what I said.
Better.
Well, you're seeing the internet. You're seeing what the internet presents you at Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
This is the best of the best, right?
Yeah.
If Hooters, you look up Hooters, they're going to also show you like the LA Hooters. They're not showing you West Milford's finest. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there was a brief time because there were some knockoffs. We never got a Twin Peaks. What we got in New Jersey, it was something called Sports Sexy Cafe.
Sports Sexy, dude.
46. Sports Sexy. That's true. There was a time where after the success of Hooters, and it's so funny that they were just like, turns out guys like chicks. I think honestly what it was, I think they were just like, they were probably so happy. They were like, we can get away with it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like the fact that Hooters sort of took off and wasn't like, and there was a bunch of locations. There was like probably more Hooters than Hard Rocks at some point. The fact that it took off and did so well commercially and nobody got in trouble. Like the other places, like the Sports Sexy Cafe was like, this is all you got to do.
Let me chime in here if you don't mind for a second here. See, when you go into a TGI Fridays, you go, we can't recreate the Jack Daniels glaze. They've got trademarks. But someone went to Sports Sexy and went, you can't claim tits. And Hooters ain't doing shit but bringing tits. Yep. We all bringing tits.
Yeah, 100. There's no legislation over pervert.
Hell no, dude. No can't if we heard it on episode 1, you heard it on episode 1,000. You can't arrest nobody's eyes.
Can't arrest your eyes.
They don't get eyeball jail.
They lock up my eyes. They don't know eyeball jail.
We got to create sunglasses that just have metal bars going down, so they're like eye jail.
Yeah. Like put that on the merch page.
I also like the idea of the feds storming into a man's house as he peruses child pornography and him going, hey, you can't arrest eyeballs, and them going, well, we can arrest the whole thing with the eyeballs attached.
So
damn, I shouldn't have listened to episode 1 too hard.
Now, if I ain't told this story once, then you ain't never heard the damn story. But the good story is that the Fridays girls and the Fridays boys and the Hooters girls, they were a close companionship in the Willowbrook Mall. When Sports Sexy came out, the Hooters girls were very mad. They were very offended. So across Route 46 was a Toys R Us where we set up shop and we blasted water balloons through the catapult over Route 46, shaving cream bombs at these women. I told you the story.
The Sports Sexy?
Yeah, the Fridays.
Which is only going to make them hotter.
Dude, first of all, they elevated their powers. 2, no one thought for a second that we might hit a car on 46 and kill 1 million people.
Oh, of course.
When you're talking to Hooters girls and the Fridays boys, not big brains up there.
You lived Porky's 3. Like that's if that's not an 80s comedy, I don't know what is. A war between sexy waitresses across the highway from each other.
Yeah, man, that was a movie Stripes. I don't think that happened to you.
Oh, I didn't mention that all the TGI Fridays boys were dressed as TGI Fridays girls.
Fridays boys.
Oh, the Fridays boys. Hot and ready. So wait, TGI Fridays.
The Fridays boys were dressed as Hooters girls?
Oh, we were dressed as Fridays girls. So the Hooters girls thought they had friends, but really they had hot, sexy men who were looking to fuck. Yeah. It was an 80s movie.
I see.
I took a part that was true and extended it into a part that was the new National Lampoon's saga.
See, my bad. I was still like, this is part of the story. So I was like, what?
Yeah, you were going, now I smell something and it ain't fresh.
Yeah.
I'm smelling some real grassy loo and horse shit.
Smell right down there.
Now, Cletus, you bullshitting me, Cletus?
Anyway.
Don't bullshit me, Cletus.
Cletus, I will slap a rooster tail up your ass 5 times from Sunday. Now,
Cletus, I don't take kind to a bullshit.
I tell you, Cletus, you better get your ass clean. They don't call you Cletus.
Yeah,
they call you Cletus.
That's right.
Because you can run fast and you got spikes on your shoes.
Don't mind my puns.
Love a pun, dude. I support Black Lives.
We had a
sure, it goes without saying.
Never
throw it in every now and again.
Yeah, you got to throw it in. You never know. You never know what people will skip to. It's definitely on. We had a place in Cleveland. For a while that was the Hooters of barbershops, and it didn't catch on. And this is what I think happened. I think if you're hot and you know how to cut hair, you don't need to wear a bikini. You can just work at a salon.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it was they were getting the hot ones that don't know how to cut hair, and people were like, look, I like to get horned up as much as the next guy, but you're fucking my hair up. And like, I could just go eat chicken wings, and they might be bad chicken wings, but I don't got to go to work on Monday looking like an asshole, you know?
I'd like to add, if you don't mind. Do you mind if I get in front of you here? Do you mind if I get in line? Look, I know you're waiting, but I got to take a shit. Do you mind if I go first?
You seem hungry.
If I recall, I think you bought the fast pass at the beginning of this podcast.
Was that a fast pass?
Fast this one real quick.
I'm not a lawbreaker. Go ahead.
I like to argue also a woman who could cut hair very well isn't going to work in a place where she's going to get hair all over her tits every day.
Yeah.
It just becomes annoying. You know, you go, I'd rather work in a place where I can wear clothes and then take those clothes off when I get home and I have to do extensive showers as if I have swine flu. And I'm not trying to incorporate everyone else with the
I got to
illness.
take a goddamn swine flu shower. Everyone knows that's how you get rid of swine flu. A nice shower will knock it out.
Well, you know what they do is one of them diseases they all worried about in them movies, Cantigen movies. You know Cantigen movies?
Contagion movies.
He means contagion.
Cantigen.
Contagion. Yo, Cletus, y'all
Cantigo
know
now.
a Cantigen movie? What was it?
Outbreak.
Something like Gattaca? No, that was a Gene
That's a
Splicer movie.
Gene
Not quite a
Splicer, brother.
Cantigen movie.
You're talking about
A movie like Outbreak.
Outbreak, man.
Yeah, sure.
You're mixing up your gene splicing movies with your Cantigen movies.
As I often do.
God damn it, your brain is wired like an old Sicilian Honda.
Well,
Not good wiring.
Not sure that they made a Honda, but one more thing I would say about the Hooters. What was the name of the haircuttery?
I can't remember. It was like Sports Clips or some shit, but it was really like because they love to cover up sex with sports. You know what I mean? That's the way you get men in. Like, it's Sports Clips. You guys like quote basketball? You know?
I believe it was Sports Clips. They had one here in San Antonio as well. And the other thing they would give you is they would give you a beer as you got a haircut.
What you're saying here, Mike, I love, but I have to first off say that when you want to talk, just turn your fucking camera on so I can see you like a human because I love your face. Because then when he talks, I can't, because
I've never seen someone yell at someone a compliment.
Right. Yeah. When you jump in, because you just put a foot in, put the whole body in, belly flopping in the pool now, Cletus. Now,
we got to clean the pool.
We
got too much water
too much hair because we're doing a hair cutting salon in the pool. Everyone loves a hot tub cut, but it's horrible on the pool boy.
Yeah, sure. One of our many businesses that didn't take off.
Hot tub cuts. You got to change the woman to every cut.
If I
ran into a drainage problem.
I was the top customer at Cut and Soak at old Cletus's Cut and Soak, and I buy every time there's only me in there, and I soak. They'd give me a cut, goddamn drain all blocked up, bubbles aren't coming out like I like them.
Rat.
We valued your customership.
And you get your coupon and your 5 dips, you get a free dip.
I always said,
our strange policy that we created.
Our dipping policy.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure.
It's free.
Doesn't do much for business, but you get some dips.
I always said to myself, I do like a dip, and I do like their dipping policy. Now, the problem I saw with the business was always, why am I the only guy here? And B, why are there 2 men cutting my hair? You know, that I always thought maybe you boys could have diversified, maybe one cut one hair, another cut another hair.
Hot tub cuts we're still talking about, right?
Yeah, I do believe we are.
We
are in the thick of a conversation about hot tub cuts.
I'm just making sure because the problem most people seem to have is that you're wading around in water filled with hair.
That was people's number one issue over and over again. That's what we would get most often on our comment cards.
Off other people's hair too.
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd be swimming. Well, that's where we'd offer a drain. Before you would get a cut, as you, I'm sure, were familiar, being such a valued customer.
Hot cuts.
Your hot tub cuts. We would ask you, would you like it to be drained already? Would you like a drain situation?
There is a fee.
Yeah, obviously there's a drainage fee, and obviously it takes quite a bit of time. So hopefully you have a couple hours on your hands to drain it, then also fill it back up.
Right, and scrub the bottom.
Yeah. And I was always, if you all recall, I was always looked upon unkindly by the ladies because I was a no drain man. I was a no drain man. I said I take it as is. And the more hair, the better is what I said because that proves to me you boys know how to cut hair. If I'm in there up to my tits and hair, well, good on me. I say.
I wish every customer was like you.
Now, tell you a thing. One of the first sketches I ever tried to write was for SNL. Was this? It was a haircut because what Mike was saying that like they give you a beer.
Yeah.
And I always thought this was so funny. I should have filmed. I never filmed it. Was these haircutting people? There's like very like Brooklyn-y haircutting people who'd give you a whiskey And it's like the commercial, and the whole video is just tons of hair falling in the whiskey, and people drinking this hair whiskey like, oh, I love a cut and a whisk, and then just drinking it hair in their mouths.
It's really funny.
Why would you want to do that?
They tried to create this like idea of decadence, you know what I mean?
Right.
But the problem with a hair salon is hair.
Hair.
That's the issue you're always going to run into.
Always.
So like no matter what environment you create, there's hair everywhere. Gross, disgusting, old hair that used to be on your body.
Yeah.
As my friend Chris Carbera used to say, your hair is everywhere. Screaming infidelities. That's right. Dashboard confessional for my old friends who love emo music. I know that's going to run all by you guys.
Obviously,
this is for me. And
I'm a Patrick and Pete man.
I was going to
Fallout Boy.
Oh, I was going to say Patrick on Instagram. Hey, that man likes him. That's my man, Patrick. He always looking me out for Star Wars figs. What's that, Brendan?
Similar business problem, which for whatever reason was not a problem. For years in Cleveland, there was a place that was reputed to be the major hangout of the Jewish faction of organized crime. And my buddy worked there.
Wait. There's a Jew mob in the nicest way possible.
Meyer Lansky. You ever heard of Meyer Lansky? Yeah.
No. I know Maya Rudolph.
Sure.
Is she in it?
Different spelling, different people. Different timelines of when they exist.
Meyer Lansky.
Yeah, Meyer Lansky was like one of the biggest organized crime members of all time.
Yeah.
But not in the mob.
Yes.
The Italian mob?
No, not the Italian
or the Jew mob.
He was in the Jew mob, but he cooperated with the Italian mob.
Exactly.
Friend, like acquaintances, like the West, like a friend of the family, but not a friend of the family.
Yeah, they worked together on shit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, he was all of Miami and Cuba. He's like,
that looks like Italian to me.
Looks like Frank Sinatra.
He does look like Frank Sinatra.
Brendan, go ahead.
Sorry, Brendan.
So there was this place in Cleveland that was like reputed to be like the major Jewish like kind of crime hangout, and my buddy worked there. It was called Elsner's Steak and Steam. You'd go into a sauna. This is 100% true. You'd go into a sauna and you'd be in a sauna, and then you'd come out of a sauna into like this locker room area where they'd bring out a table and you'd eat steaks. And it was just like, what do you like your steaks covered in your own sweat? Come on, man.
Oh, man, it's bad.
Yeah, this just goes back to the idea when you have men just creating a business without checkpoints. They just, no woman to get in there to just be like, that sounds awful. You can't do that. But men will be like, what's better than a steak and a steam?
Yeah,
they should do steak and naps where you eat the steak and then they walk you over to a nap place and you take a nap and then you get up when you go.
Great idea.
Right.
Steak and naps.
Drinks and rubs.
Whenever I couldn't agree more. And whenever I watch like movies like Gangs in New York and like kind of like that era of movies, the best business that I'd like to go to in any movie I've ever seen is like an old school Chinese run opium den. Because it looks like there's just these luxurious beds, women with their tops off. People come. You don't even have to hold the pipe. There's like a guy that comes over and holds the opium pipe to your mouth, and you just luxuriate with this relaxing music on. It's the top. It's the top of luxury, and they should be brought back.
Yeah, everything is sheer in those places.
Question here now. I just want to run through these if we could, right? We figured out most of them, right? The Italians have the mobs, the Jews have the Jew mob, or is there like what's it called?
Greg is asking me like a child asking his father.
I am. Well, you're very similar to him. You have more knowledge than me, so I bow to you.
I think the Purple Gang was Jewish, and then I think they didn't really have a name for themselves. The Syndicate, maybe. No, the Syndicate was Japanese.
Italian. The Japs had the red dragons and shit. Well, like everyone's got like the Yakuza.
I don't know. I've stayed. Right? I don't know anything about
handicapped people have QAnon. We've touched on that. Did the Indian people have a mob?
I'm sure any group of people has an organized crime faction. It's just human nature.
This is what makes me mad though. They do it by color. They don't do it by like funny, like the funny guy mob. Like everybody who's funny gets together, and then we're the crime syndicate. The goofballs.
I see what you're saying. Yes,
kind of like in the Warriors. Right. And they're like all baseball player mob.
You know,
right. You are like that. Is interesting, man. You are right, because that would be what binds people more so than just ethnicity.
Yeah, action people who collect action figures, comic book guy, like things that you.
And then they also go, let's rob a bread truck every now and again.
Or even better, even more sensible. And I like where your head's at, but even more sensible. What about organizing the mobs along the line of like, hey, what kind of crimes do you like to do? You know what I mean?
This is a great idea. The car mobs.
Yeah, we're the car mob. We're the heroin mob. Like, great, good to meet you. We won't fight because we like.
You'll never fight.
Yeah,
you'll never fight because you're doing things.
Great idea.
Every mob for every. Hey, we kidnap for ransom. Good for you, buddy.
Well,
you know, if you ever need a car, hit us up.
Here's the big problem, and I honestly think this might be really why the problem is.
Right.
The drug trade is going to bring in so much more money that like the stealing baseball card gang is going to be like, we're just not making enough money in this gang.
Yeah.
We want to get in the drug thing.
Yes.
And that's where you run into problems.
You're right.
Right.
One of the guys is going to go, we should get in the heroin game.
Yeah.
They've all got houses.
Turns out
barely make rent with our baseball card scam.
It turns out the mob people aren't really in it for the love of selling heroin. They're in it for like getting money at all costs.
Right.
Yeah.
So that I guess figures it out.
Yeah.
But it would work.
But I mean, I think that's better as you're going to run into that complication, but it is better than the race divided organized crime that they were running.
Right.
Because then you just have all these, they would have people like Meyer Lansky was Jewish, right? So but you'd have people who's like, I want to work with this guy, but he's a Jew.
Right.
You know, and you're like,
it's so weird.
It's so you're already
so
weird.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like
you're also not listening to God,
right?
You're already literally not listening to God. Like we have the same religion. Well, you're not that religion.
Yeah, man. You just killed a guy. Who cares about working with some Armenian dude?
And I don't want Jesus to think I don't want to go to hell for working with this wethead, or I don't know what they call it.
Yeah, Arnold. What's his name? Arnold. Is it Arnold? Arnold Rothstein. He fixed the goddamn World Series. The guy bought the World Series. That's crazy.
Proven, or is this a Brendan Conspiro?
No, that's a known thing.
Really?
They called the Chicago White Sox, I believe, of 1919. They're known as the Chicago Black Sox. And here's the thing.
From that movie?
Yeah, they got fucked.
Yep.
They got fucked because their names are tarnished. They're considered like, there's a lot of guys that would be in the Hall of Fame that aren't. But here's the thing. Old man Wrigley or whoever owned them wasn't paying them right. They were the best team in baseball and they were getting paid shit. And Rothstein knew that. And so he went to them and was like, hey, do you guys want to make like as much as other baseball players?
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah. And then he was like, okay, just lose the World Series. And they were like, all right, fuck our owner. Like, that guy doesn't pay us anything. And it was like, the whole thing was very fair. And I think
one guy, he didn't have shoes,
Yeah.
Shoeless Joe would go, well, I can finally get a pair of shoes.
Wait, is this a bit?
No. There was one of the White Sox players was Shoeless Joe Johnson.
That's the problem when you guys do sports-based bits, right? Because then I don't know what's real and what's crazy.
I get it.
Because Shoeless Joe, you tell me there's a guy without shoes playing baseball?
No, well, the baseball back then, everybody had like a nickname like that.
Oh,
and it was like
Slim.
It was probably like based on one time they saw him without shoes on. Back in like the 1915s, you were never seen without shoes. You know what I mean? No matter under any circumstances, you had a nice pair of brogues on. So one time they saw him barefoot, and they go, "That's shoeless Joe."
Can I tell you? I hate that it's a little similar. I tried to write a bit about this, but I couldn't because it was too. Maybe it's racist, but you guys tell me. But it's written on my shower curtain. I'll tell you this one because I met Jackie Fabulous.
It's written on your shower.
Oh, I got this shower.
Like a beautiful mind. That's so funny. A beautiful mind, but a comedian. It's just all like weird premises all over the walls.
Go take a shower in my bathroom. You'll see.
I was planning on it after.
It's like, Greg, there's nothing written here. Also, you don't have a British friend. It's in your imagination the whole time.
I have a wet pad.
Yes, I did see that.
It hangs in my thing and I write these things. And so I met Jackie Fabulous, and I've been hanging with Jackie Fabulous. I love this woman, right? Yeah. But I thought it was funny because it's like, man, black people, when they give each other names, they go, "Who are you? I'm gonna be Jackie Fabulous." Like, it's huge. But Italians are always like, they give nicknames. They go, "That's one ball Luke." And it's like the one thing you're the most vulnerable about. They shit on you. Or like that's shrimp fingers. It's like, dude, my hands were wet once. But then JB Smooth is always known as Smooth. Right. Italians do it wrong. But that's like an Italian versus black people joke, which sounds like it's like a 1980s premise.
No,
man, white people be like, funny. Black people be like.
I don't know. I don't. This is a specific Italian thing, and you're Italian.
Right.
You're just getting into the joke by way of like, you have a friend named Jackie Fabulous.
Here, I believe that button.
I don't want the button again, you lunatic.
Not the button. Not the button.
All right.
I wanted to say, yeah, go ahead, Brendo. No, man.
Anthony, fast pass, baby. You're in.
Fast pass.
Look in my pocket. Turns out I got one too. Going back to the hair cuttery versus Hooters, where they were just like, you have to get a license to be a hairdresser. Right. Not taking anything away from servers, but you don't have to go to school to give out chicken wings.
No.
So you just have these hot women who don't know how to cut hair. And then probably guys are like, they want to impress them. So they're just like, no, it's good. It's a good cut. Their ears just bleeding.
That was always funny about Hooters is that like they were just hot women who became waitresses. Right. And then you find out how much a waiter really isn't needed as a job, because then like they just wouldn't be good at it. Right. So then you just walk up to the manager like, "Where's my food?" And you're like, "Oh, here you go. There you go." And it's like, this gorgeous woman with tits has just been sitting on some 40-year-old guy's lap for an hour.
Yeah, man. Our staff is all ring girls.
It's like, come on.
The other thing. Go ahead.
Go. No, I got a slow pass.
This is weird to me. I never have thought about this before in my life, but like, isn't it illegal to like hire people based on how they look? So how come there's
not if they're actors?
Oh, I see. Because otherwise,
they're also like wear their hair down like that.
Why is there never a fat Hooters girl that's just like, I needed a job, like, because I think it's illegal to say like, hey, you're not hot enough to be a waiter,
so there has been, and I'm sure Mike is already, his fingers are probably burning from how hot he's typing right now. There was lawsuits, because I was very intrigued in the Hooters world. I was very entrenched in it. There was they can hire them technically as actors, which makes them allowed to wear like their hair in certain ways and be around food where like hair is down, like they get around the FDA somehow.
Oh, right.
There was also there was like a man who sued once for not being allowed to be a Hooters girl, and that was a thing. And I think there's something at weight, but I think Hooters at one point just went, fat people are beautiful too. And they started letting them in. But there was a while where they just really weren't doing that. They were like, a manager could come up to you and be like, you got to drop 5 pounds.
That's right. Because they used to do that on with stewardesses, now called flight attendants.
Right.
They used to do that back. That was like a no.
I call them airboys.
I call them airboy no matter what they are. It doesn't matter your gender. You're an airboy to me.
Yeah. Something airboy back.
But that's
sorry, go ahead.
That's legitimate because those planes have weight capacities on them. You know what I mean? So I don't have a problem with that. You got it. You
listen to the head of Boeing over here.
I mean, you can't control a fat passenger, so you got to save weight on the stewardesses. You know what I mean? You got to be
for sure.
I
love you saying that in Supreme Court. You just don't get aerodynamics, Your Honor.
I don't care that the stewardesses are fat. I just wish they would stop trying to do a talent show when we're about to get off the plane.
Ooh, Mike, hit him.
Wrong again, Mike.
Hit him, Mike.
I like when they come out and they go, before you go.
Same.
I want to do my best Neil Diamond impression.
I watched the last flight I took. There was the person over the speaker was really trying to get us all on board with how her friend was a good singer. One of the other flight attendants, she got on and she just goes, I'll be here, whatever. And then, as you saw Clara in the front, who's got an excellent voice, by the way. And then by the end of the flight, she goes, wouldn't we all like to hear Clara sing?
Right.
And everyone went, I don't know.
Yeah.
And then, she sang Happy Birthday.
Oh, come on.
I believe she sang Happy Birthday to herself. and then the other lady got back on and wasn't that great? And everyone kind of clapped, and then it was so strange. We all had to look these two in the eye at the end of the flight.
I love that at the end of the flight, they're just like, we're landing here in L.A. How's the weather? Well, I tell you that L.A. is fine. The sun shines most of the time. The feeling is late.
Oh,
you're like, get me out of here.
I had a string of when we would land, the gay guy trying to roast passengers.
I've never seen that.
And the city. Like not individual passengers, but like the tropes, like, we're all impressed with your iPhone. It's like it's 2017. Everyone has an iPhone. Shut up. It's just like,
yeah.
But I like it because if I'm paying top dollar for these flights, give me a show too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No,
I don't.
No,
I forgot to tell you
pay
guys
more
this.
for a show.
I forgot to tell you guys this when I came back. I had it noted.
Give me that button.
I had it noted to tell you, and then I forgot to tell you. When I went to Prova at the beginning of this month, I saw my first airplane heckler. This guy was the best. The pilot comes on and he goes, at about 35 minutes outside of Provo. It looks like we're going to be running into some bumpy air there for for a bit. Don't be concerned. And this guy just yells out, "Go around it!" And
that's pretty funny.
Yeah, I think everyone's kind of like, "Yeah, man, go around. Like, if you know about it, go around it." Like, great point. Great point, buddy.
A very good point.
I would argue that guy might not have been a heckler. He could be what I like to call a Greg Flyer. Whereas I don't like, I freak. So when he says that, I'm like, go higher, which like it's just him being like, just get out of there. Don't do it then. I don't want it. Who wants it?
No, I like a pilot who's go. Yeah, I like a little action on my flight. I like someone that look. If, like I said, if I'm paying top dollar for these things, I want a show and I want to ride. I want to feel like I'm at Six Flags.
There's this weird guy that owns this. He's like a antiques dealer, but like not like nice antiques. He'll sell you like an old like Ferris wheel horse or some shit, you know, like he'll sell you like
big stuff.
He'll sell you like what's that car chase game? The arcade
Cruising
game.
the World.
Yeah, he'll sell you something like that, but he keeps it all in a warehouse that's near the Pittsburgh airport. And he's just like a zany guy. And the planes land right over his warehouse, and he just painted in giant fucking letters on top of his warehouse, "Welcome to Cleveland," and it's in Pittsburgh.
I love it.
So it's just flights full of people going, "What the fuck, man?"
Yeah.
And the pilot,
so funny.
Literally every pilot has to be like, "That's just Jim. Like, he's kind of a jerk. You're not in Cleveland. We are at the correct destination."
You're welcome to the USSR.
Yeah.
What I do. I used doing this bit, and by doing I meant I did it twice. I don't know how they're laughing, but I think I like it a lot. I can't figure out how to do the setup, but it's about how like people like I always constantly get like maps wrong and shit. Like I don't know where any of the states are in America, and everyone's like, "You don't know geography, you're dumb." And I'm like, "Yeah, but like I never need to know geography. I'm never on a plane looking around like, wasn't he supposed to make a right?" You know, I just feel like I think there's something funny about that. Like you don't need to know a map. Right. But it's not doing so good. It didn't do so good here. You guys are very supportive of me.
No. You have a phone. Okay. The plane guy knows. The train can't go anywhere else. Like there's no instance where you need to know like which direction relative to me is Louisiana. You know what I mean? Like no possible circumstance like in this day and age where it's like you have a phone, tells you what highway to get on, you drive. You know, you go. You take a bus, that guy knows. You know, anything, they know. Like
I love a pilot who's also just going to say something extra information that you don't need that he shouldn't say. Where he's like, "Hey, you guys doing? I'm Jimmy, your pilot. My wife left me, but don't worry, it's not going to have anything to do with my flying today. I'm a little sad, but not that sad. I still do my job. Let's do a loop-de-loo, though."
Yeah.
Quick loop-de-loo.
Yeah, it's so funny if a guy goes on, he just goes, "Hey, I'll do a straw poll here. We can go upside down." And if you want, just show of hands.
If 80% of you say we'll do it, we'll do it. Belts on, tables up. We're doing a loop-de-loo. Anyway, I'm gonna put the wheels down. We're cruising at 100,000 feet. I'm gonna put the wheels down for no reason. Just have a little fun. Just want to push some. I got a kid up here who wants to push a lot of buttons. So if you hear some things, don't worry. That's this old handicapped Ted. Anyway, did I ruin it?
No, I don't think so.
I don't think so, buddy. I don't think so, my friend. Man, bird watch is still going hot. I yelled at two cats approached the bird area. And I yelled.
You got to get people up to date for the non-patron subscribers.
Oh, so if you don't, I got a goddamn dumb bird built a nest too low, next to my stairs, and I got two baby birds that I'm guarding now because that fucker, anything comes near it, the bird flies away, doesn't do its job. So I'm the father. I'm the father of these birds. I already got a baby of my own. I'm neglecting my own child to save these birds, and I had to yell at two cats. I said, "Scram! Scram!"
Yeah, scramble.
Yeah,
a cat will listen to that. Cats are they're
scaredy.
They're scaredy.
They are definitely scaredy.
They are definitely scaredy. They really are scaredy, folks. Yeah. You can. A spray of water will get a cat out of there.
Yeah.
You just spray.
You ever see a scaredy cat that's not scaredy, and you're like,
Well,
what's wrong with you, brother?
You got rabies.
Yeah.
It's a surefire sign of rabies.
No, I had one. George, my cat George, growing up, fucked up in the head. He was like me. He had a brain misconnections, and he would do this shit. Nicest cat you ever loved. Afraid of nothing. But then he'd go bad every like once or twice a month. He'd go bad, and he'd just attack your face while you were sleeping, and no one knew why. But then he'd love you in the morning, so it was hard to be mad. Like he was
a drunk. Your cat was a drunk. That's what's happening. Your cat was drinking at night, and he'd get real mad and crazy.
Yeah.
And fuck you up, and then in the morning you feel bad.
Yeah, I'm making it.
I'm taking the cat alcohol anonymous.
My name is George. I'm an alcoholic. It's been 35 days since I scratched a guy on the face for no bloody reason.
Mittens.
Mittens. I'm making excuses for him like an abused wife. Just like, no, he's the best in the morning. He's fine. After it's twice a month. That's it. He loves me in the morning.
Well, yeah, you'd have to make excuses for him because he's you.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'd have to be like, that's a good guy there.
Yeah.
Misunderstood, and we don't know how to treat these people yet in our society.
You should bring your cat to an AA meeting and be like, I don't know if this is cool, but I think this cat has also got a problem. Sure, he doesn't talk, but he's crazy. He does the same things I do. He's looking at my mom's credit card numbers, writing them down.
Stole our television.
Stole our
trucks.
Yeah.
I have a problem.
What's that about?
What?
Oh, you were doing that.
No, I was thinking out loud. I do have a problem, but I wasn't ready to present it to the group.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
cook the bread up slow.
Take your time. Take your time. Let it simmer.
You know what's crazy, man?
What's up?
This goes along with this bit I've been doing. It's all bits today.
This is cartography bit?
No. This is the body is smarter than the brain bit that I've been trying to get off the ground for 7 years, and I've just never even said it out. It might already be killing, but I've never tried it.
I was gonna say Greg, you've talked about this bit as you. I don't think I've ever seen you do it on stage.
I've never done it on stage. I always forget, but I was thinking about it and added. Dang, I had a meeting today with a doctor about the baby today.
Yes,
we went to go do where they do a
ultrasound.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah. Well, you look at it. And you look at it and you see it.
Yeah.
First of all, they don't give you the pictures. Brendan may have seen this. When they're dipping around with the ultrasound, you'll see like its skull.
Right.
Dude, it has like this like Johnny Blaze flame skull, horrifying, but they don't give you that picture.
Right.
And I was like, can I take a picture of that? They're like, we don't allow pictures. We only give you like the glamour shots where he's like sucking his thumb, but it's like they go in a little too far. You see its spine and it's horrifying. But what I'm gonna say is about that is like Tita's body knows how to make a human. Like when you really just think of that, how crazy that is. And then also like every human is being made essentially the same, right? Like there are all these factories, these blueprints, individual that are built. No, Tina's body isn't like, I'm gonna do a custom job on this. Well, custom jobs, I guess you could say, are like handicapped people or missing an arm, but like not really. I'm saying like a real like artistic, your body doesn't take any artistic merits when it's making the body. You know, it's like, I'm gonna do 5 arms in blue, or just a ball person. Just a ball person.
The body is a machine. It's not an artist.
Right. But your brain is an artist.
Right.
But your body isn't listening to the artist's brain.
Yes.
Like because if Tita's body has the ability to make this thing.
Right.
But the brain doesn't have the ability to talk to the body and be like, give him knife hands.
Right. Because the body would reject that.
Because the body will be like, no.
Yeah.
But why? You think you're in control? You're not in control.
Well, and also, I mean,
control.
Greg,
yeah,
you can't even control the factory.
Greg yells at me.
Well,
when he gets passionate.
But there's,
Play with the button.
It's like less even of a factory. It's more. I think a better analogy would be like it's like a greenhouse, really, because like it's not even making anything. Like your sperm and her egg made it. She's now just feeding it and growing it. You know what I mean? So like you have to get your sperm modified if you're trying to get knife hands. So you know what I mean? Like this is just the combination of the egg and the sperm. Like there's no changes can be made past that point. You got to get early.
We're still saying that like what we're still talking about here is the brain still doesn't have the ability to talk to that the workshop and
no
be like,
input.
hey, workshop people,
Yeah.
like get in there. We want to do this thing real smart. Right. We want to give them extra teeth. Right. You know what I mean? Like we don't want to have any missing parts of the beard like his dad does.
Yeah.
DNA somehow does that, or evolution, but like you think you're in control of your body, you're not in control.
You could look at it like they're roommates. That's how Thomas Jefferson used to look at it.
Really?
Yeah. Whereas they're two roommates. Well, he didn't look at it like this, but he did look at it as if they were, two people sort of living together or whatever. But you could look at like the brain is this like artist sort of roommate. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the body is this guy who's like, we need to make rent.
Right.
And the brain is like, look at my painting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the body is like, your painting ain't doing shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I'm hungry, get us food.
I keep us going.
Right. Right. But it's like so crazy because the part that's you think is in control is that brain, is the brain that's talking and moving, but he's in control of such little. You can't even hold your breath to kill yourself. If you hold your breath, your body goes, I'm taking over, you're breathing.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, the brain is like one of those guys who, exactly. Like you give them stuff. It's like a kid, you know what I mean? Where you just go, yeah, sure, you're a dragon.
Sure, play with this cheese for a little bit.
Exactly.
I'll let you put the food in the mouth, but that's about it. We're gonna turn that into nutrients and power.
Right. Well, that was what was so goddamn frustrating about going crazy, because it was like I would get so mad at my brain because I'd be like, you're dropping the ball on the few responsibilities you even have. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you don't even have to do that much. The whole rest, my arm's doing its job fucking fine. My foot doing its foot job. You have very little to do, and you're fucking that up. Like you have to send the happiness to the happiness part, and you fucking said take a left and go to sadness, and you're thanks. Like
it's the brain. Yeah. Maybe it's the brain is like a kicker on a team, and the body's like the rest of the football team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Where it's like you had one job and you missed the extra point. And now we lost the game, you asshole.
Yeah. I think I brought this up once before. I also always think it's funny if like when you're eating food and you eat it and it's like it's got to get divvied up places. Right? Is there a part of your body that's like, we need fingernails. Send some of this steak to the fingernail department. Send some of this steak to come, like. Because like you have nutrients that your fingernails grow, right? So like it's all getting broken down, and then it's going to different places. Like there's a part of your body that's kind of like, we need more cum today. Just send some of that steak to the cum box, to the cum room.
Just like a taxi cab dispatcher. Yeah, we got a guy up in Queens needs picking up.
They go around they make all the stations. They go, how are balls? The balls go, we could use a little more cum.
We could use a little.
All right, I'll make a note of that in the ledger.
Right, send some French fries to him.
Yeah. I had a similar bit, Greg, that similarly have never done it and has been in my mind for 8 years and never really even written it. But it's along the lines of like, I believe in evolution. I do. But my one problem with evolution is how come my mouth doesn't like things that are good for me. Do you know what I mean? Like if evolution were good, why does everything that my mouth likes is bad for me?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I don't like vegetables. And if evolution were there, shouldn't I love vegetables? Shouldn't my mouth just be like, only the good stuff, baby? Give me broccoli and a quarter portion of chicken every meal. And it's like, no, that's not what my mouth likes. My mouth likes pizza and sandwiches and French fries, and that's it, and gravy. That's it.
So I have some explanation about that if you'd actually like to know. I mean, I think you know, but I had this conversation with Tita because she's a master in the sciences of food. The reality is your body does like those, like the odd ones are weird, right? Like you might not like mushrooms, which are good. It's like it throws you off, like it's like a weird aside, but your body does like those things and your body will tell you what you need. But McDonald's and all that shit, we so know what tricks our mind into thinking it's good that we've steroided all that shit in there so that when you have McDonald's, it's a billion times of what your body thinks it wants. But the reality is it's just this factory. I know this is like an explanation for something crazy, but they know that like French salt, like you need a little bit of salt, like that'll like, oh, okay.
Right.
But then they're like, since we know they want salt, McDonald's is like load that shit up and it's overriding what your factory needs.
That's what
that makes sense.
That's what because I do know it's a bit of a false premise because like
it's not a false premise. It's still funny. We're student comedy. We're not scientists,
right? But no, that's right because it's like evolution.
Tell Joe Rogan that.
Yeah,
right.
But like evolution works in millions of years. It doesn't work in hundreds of years, like
or since the 80s.
So the truth is like, yes, eventually like the peoples whose mouths like McDonald's too much, if evolution works, in a million years they're going to die younger and younger and younger, and eventually your taste buds will evolve to like knowing those chemicals are bad for you. But it's like, that doesn't happen in 100 years. That doesn't happen. Right. That happens over millions of years.
Well, see, this is the thing that's been crazy about comedians too. Like the thing about Joe Rogan is like, I always say like, listen to comedians' questions.
Right.
Don't listen to the answers. The answers are punchlines. The answers are jokes.
Right.
But the questions are fun and great things to like think about. Say, hey, well, why don't we do this? Great. Right. But if the answer is fart.
Totally.
Go to your teachers.
Well, I think
the educated.
I think you bring up such a great point here, and I think that goes back to like the makeup of comedians.
Right.
Because like comedians are, and Jim Gaffigan I think said this once, and it stuck with me. Like comedians are inherently skeptical, and that's what makes a good comedian is like this healthy amount of skepticism where you're questioning the world around you. But then the part that drags comedians down is the narcissism,
right?
Where it's like it's good to have that question, and like that's what makes you a comedian. But what also makes you a comedian is going, and I know the answer.
And also like comedians are notoriously uneducated alcoholic drug addicts. Another reason you don't want to listen to the answers there.
Who have pretty widely acknowledged have no problem lying if it's funny. It's absolutely like what's the answer? Whatever's funniest. That's the answer.
The answer is whatever gets the biggest. Not moves the human race past. No, but comedians are in the same way McDonald's is like where we've learned the hack. Right? Big Instagram people aren't because they're the smartest or the best answers.
Right.
They know the algorithm.
Totally.
So then you're like, what? Or like comedians are like, they're the funniest, or they're like, they know whose ass to kiss to get there. It's nothing to do with answers.
Oh, it's just a gathering of sociopaths.
Right.
Given a microphone.
I got to give a shout out to Seton Smith. I'm not going to say why, but my man did a great thing yesterday to someone was clearly like a cool guy was walking around being like, I had my eyes on him, and I was like, my man is definitely looking at women a little too hard.
Okay.
And my man said it out loud. He was like, what's my man always looking at them women like that? And it was like, I can't get into the specifics of it.
Oh, it was another comedian.
Another comedian.
It was just like a guy walking around the
No, I was in the green room, and it was like, he's a better off comedian than us who could ruin our careers immediately. And he didn't do anything that was like
take me down
ethically. No, not you.
Can't take down a guy who's not in it.
Yeah. But it wasn't something that was like, we need to act, but it was something that's like,
we got to keep an eye on
we eyeing you right now. And like, so we got to wait till the eyes are burning. But Seton, I was like, I just was so happy to see that Seton also, I thought it was just me, but Seton was like, my man keeps looking. And I was like, I think my man just keeps only hanging around women. Anyway, it was really funny.
Oh,
go ahead, Anthony. Sorry.
No, this is going to be off topic. I just had a funny thing happen to me.
I prefer this than me talking about what I'm getting into that I really would like to get out of as soon as possible.
That's fine, man. So yesterday, how, like you spend, like you have shows, so you kind of write for that day for the shows.
Yeah.
So like one of my shows was canceled, and the other show was on the roof in New York Comedy Club, and it was just 6 old guys having their bachelor party, and then a couple that was just like, man, we're outnumbered here, so we have to be a part of the bachelor party. During my set, one of the guys goes, hey, you've introduced yourself, but we haven't introduced ourselves. And I went, yeah, you're absolutely right. And I said, everyone introduce themselves one by one, full name, one fact about you, and you have to stand up. So one by one, all these like wild hogs of a bachelor party, everyone was like over 50 or 60 years old, stood up and went, I'm Marcus, I love white rice, and I think you're hilarious, and sat right back down. And it was crazy.
I love the AA business model for things that aren't like AA. You know, it's like for fun, for parties. You stay up, say something you like about each other.
Yeah, but this guy had like a 7-year-old man with a childlike innocence who just went, well, what the? You've said hello.
Right.
I know everything about you. You know nothing about me, friend.
Hey, Guns N' Roses. You did Welcome to the Jungle. Let me do Welcome to the Jungle as well. I think we should all be allowed certain song numbers, diddlies, and dances.
And what was so nice is like the problem usually I would run into is because I always want to lean into that.
Right, of course.
But the problem I run into is that like there's another half of the audience who's like, we came for a show. But because these guys were most of the audience, I was like, well, it'd be not right to not follow through on this, you know?
Yeah.
So it was so freeing.
And that one party, that one couple that isn't, they go, well, we went to our first comedy show. How was it? Well, it's mostly bachelor parties introducing themselves.
Yeah, it's mostly old men eating peanuts introducing themselves.
I also
they were eating. It was so funny. It was crazy.
I also love whoever threw this shindig together because it's like, Marty, you're 62. You've been married before. No bachelor party necessary. You know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here? Where are we going? You know, where are we going with this? Okay, we'll come to the wedding, but come on, man. We're fucking grown-ups, you know? Like,
it's crazy. Bachelor parties are crazy. I don't know. I didn't have one.
Wow, what a man! Wow, hey, just drop the podcast off a cliff. Why don't you?
Just kidding. We got married out of nowhere. My wife and I got married like literally. We gave a week's notice, but I was actually all week thinking about doing that as a joke, but I didn't want to actually hurt. Never mind. Okay, well, I thought it was funny. I thought it was.
Hey man, we're happy to set you up with one.
Yeah, it's never too late, dog. I got a limo guy.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to get in that Millennium Falcon bar that they're building in 2022 at Disney World.
Oh, yeah, not just a bar, a hotel, the whole experience.
I don't know. I read a thing. Really? Doing 2022. I actually get these helmets someday.
I thought it was a Star Destroyer. Is it the Millennium Falcon? It's like
I'll be honest,
live in
I'm literally saying nothing. I know that there's some kind of hotel coming. You know more than I do about it. What are they saying, Brendan?
I don't know. It could be the Millennium Falcon. I thought it was a Star Destroyer, but whatever it is, you can live in there. You can go.
Mike doesn't even have to Google this.
Yeah,
I guarantee it.
Brendo, go ahead, man.
Sorry,
I want there to be a hardcore Star Wars fan that's just like Royal Tannenbaum that just moves into that hotel, never leaves, just moves in full time, lives at the Disney Star Wars ship, and just addresses everyone as like, "Good morning, Lieutenant," and they're like, "Fucking Bill, what the fuck, man?"
I'll say this right now: if Greg's Doge goes through the roof, like I think it is, that you're looking at Greg doing that.
And I'll say this: I think the first answer is he dresses himself blue. I say no. He wears a normal like tuxedo, like his own business thing, but just loves the idea of living in a Star Destroyer and just walks around every day like, oh, there goes Three Eyes. Hold on, the band's playing.
Plays the
Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser coming to Walt Disney World in 2022.
So you can live in. So you're living in the Star Cruiser.
It's a 2-night. It says it's a 2-night all immersive adventure. So I guess it's like a 2-night role playing deal. Where you're like,
whoa,
yeah, that's pretty crazy. I'll kill a man there. I'll kill a man there.
I'll kill Holdo if that bitch
you'll be
shows
tried
up
in the Galactic Senate for something like that, Brendan.
You're gonna see me with a fucking shotgun running around going, "You shouldn't have killed Akbar off screen."
give me the head of Ryan Johnson. Greg is gonna shut that place down. Man, looks like we have to wait till 2022.
We'll go. We don't have to do a bachelor party. We just go.
That's also true.
Also, I do know what I want to do. I'm going to throw this one out there, and this is for anybody who's listening. My birthday is June 19th. I'll be turning 40. I think I'm going to try to do mushrooms. I want to do mushrooms on my birthday. You want to do that?
Yes.
You want to do that?
Yes.
Brother,
I would say.
FaceTime in.
Well, I'm gonna slam in here on this. Have you ever done mushrooms?
I have mushrooms in my freezer for 3 years, but we've never eaten them.
I would recommend. I would say. Having done both, I think you're turning 40. All right, You're cruising. You're doing great. I would say acid.
LSD?
Yeah, I would go with acid because
is acid LSD?
Yeah, because here's
the
thing. Right. Yeah, because here's the thing about shrooms. Shrooms, like they're a plant, right? So, you don't. Like sometimes I would take shrooms and trip like super hard, and sometimes I would take shrooms and nothing would happen. And like you don't like know how much of the shroom is in the shroom. Whereas like acid, if you get it from a person you know who's like, this is like heavy acid, this is like you won't trip too hard on this. You can kind of control it a little more, and it's also you trip harder. It's better. Like things seem crazier. So I don't know. I would say, I mean, I never liked any of them because I didn't like hallucinogenics. I always went to the hospital and then left the hospital.
Always having a hard enough time with the real world. Totally, man.
Every single time I was on hallucinogens, I would go to the hospital, walk in, realize nothing was actually wrong, and walk out. Every single time.
That's so funny. That college kid's back again.
Dude, when we used to work in the ER, a lot of it was like you'd get people who are coming in who are too high,
right?
And the way ERs work is you kind of have to work down like the people who are like the most emergent first or whatever. Right. And a lot of it was like most of the drug people wouldn't get in because for the most part everything is more emergent, and all they really needed to do was just sit in the waiting room anyway.
Right.
Yeah.
So and every now and again you'd be dead, and you'd get, because we get William Patterson. We were right next to William Patterson University. Right. Yeah. We get. I mean, I told you we've had so many kids come in who were just tried weed for the first time, freaked out. The ER was right there, so they walked in, and then you just get them some snacks, and you pet them a little bit, and they go home.
Can even happen to a grown man at 38. Though that should be noted as well.
Yeah. Well, that
sophomores.
You were in COVID. It's a little different when you're in the middle of COVID.
Oh boy, that Rihanna fashion show is going. And they warn you. They'll go. You might experience some seizures because of all these blinking lights, and I freaked the fuck out.
Rihanna fashion show?
Yeah, Julia put on the Rihanna Fenty fashion show.
Oh my god!
There were so many colors and craziness in it, and that's what triggered the alarm. And then my body went, here's a year's worth of anxiety. We're gonna dump all on you in 5 minutes.
That was like was very much like the great Revenge of the Planet of the Apes adventure, when just 10 minutes into the movie, Anthony turns to me and Ron Krasnow and just go, because Ron and Anthony had eaten an edible. 10 minutes into the movie, Anthony just goes, "We have to go."
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, man, and we just left.
I don't know, Anthony, if you remember this, because I kind of remember it, but Anthony, I went to I forgot what that comedy festival was.
Asheville.
We were to Asheville, and it was like a mountain trail. It wasn't really even like a mountain. It was just, I guess it was like a trail. It
was a hill.
I got so stoned.
Yeah.
I was sitting on the rock, and I just told Anthony, I was like, I can't go on the trail, because in my mind it was like a cliffhanger experience.
Right. Yeah,
and Anthony just going like, "Look, man, there's children. That guy brought a dog. If the dog could do it, you can do it." And I think, tell me if I'm wrong, I swear to God, I remember seeing some lady going, "You all right?" Yes. And I just being like, "I'm too high to do that." And I think she started laughing. Is that true?
I think so. I want to say yes. I don't even remember, but I think so, man.
Yeah.
It was like Asheville, you know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty hippy dippy town. So I'm sure she was just like, "Happy trails, friend." You know what I mean?
I do remember this happened though. And I tried to do I do a bit about it, but there was this priest who wasn't a priest. He was like a cool, those, like those Christian priests who like they wear jeans and they're like the pastors, right?
Yeah.
Adam Devine and Righteous Gemstones.
Yes, the hot pastor. And he has all these like 12-year-old kids, and he's looking off the mountain, look at the thing, and he goes like, "Look at God's glory. Look at how God did this." And I just went, "If you're showing them that, you gotta show them the butcher houses and and I'm screaming this, and the guy's like,
Greg brought up tenement fires in Old New York."
Yeah, what are the children dying in Europe? Is he not doing that? I was calling him a hack. I was like, "Show them the sunset is a hack move. It's hacky."
Greg's Wikipediaing euthanasia. Kids are just trying to have a fine afternoon.
Right. Yeah. No, that was too high, brother.
When you're an atheist all the time.
Oh, it does not take a time off.
Yeah, I do. Anyway. I would love. I mean, that is funny, but also I'd love if there was just a overly honest pastor. It was just like, "God did this magnificent vista. He also did that stampede in Israel that just happened." He likes a little of everything. That's just what he's about. Yes, he made
the man's got blind spots.
I want to see that pastor bringing a class to the 9/11 memorial. Like, look at God's glory. These are all the things he does.
Yeah.
Another thing too, which bothers me, is people will go after atheists. Like, how do you know an atheist? They'll tell you in the first 2 minutes you know them, as if atheists are so pushy. When's the last time you saw atheists going door to door, being like, "Hey, have you heard the word of nothing?"
Right.
Like that shit doesn't happen. Those guys are way pushier than we are. I just bring it up on every podcast. It's my podcast.
There's not even buildings in a city dedicated to it,
Right. Well, they're parks. They're just empty. I don't know if that's something. I don't know if that was funny. I don't care.
Atheists love nature. That's what you're saying?
I was trying to say like the atheists love nothing. And a park is like it's like an empty parking lot. They go, here it is.
A lot of land.
Here's nothing.
I see.
That was like when me and my brother were in Alaska. Our only friends were those fucking Mormon missionaries, and the thing was like they were cool, and so we'd play Mario Kart, but I think they felt like well, we are like, this is our job. Like we have to do our job. So we're sent away for 2 years to do a job for God. Right. So always like an hour into playing Mario Kart, they'd start trying to get us to be Mormons. And every single time my brother would be like, hey man, I told you about this. No. and they'd be like, all right, let's get back to playing. It's just like, so if you're a Mormon and you know two guys that just came back with 0 conversions that were really good at Mario Kart, they were our guys. Because they were great because they would try, but it was real half-assed. And as soon as my brother yelled, they'd be like, you're right, man.
Stick to the game. Right. You're right.
Yeah. Next time we'll save for the salamander thing, which I think I've talked about already. You've seen the salamander thing, right?
What's it?
There's this documentary on Netflix, which is great. It's about the Mormons and about how like the whole thing of Mormonism is that like this guy Joe, talked to God and then came back with these books. Anyway, the Mormons are like from like the 80s. Like it's like that's where most of their shit comes from.
Right.
So it's pretty traceable, And so they found the old text from like Joe.
Was it John Smith?
John Smith, right? So there's like this old text of his.
Joseph Smith, I think.
Joseph
right.
Smith.
It's the most random name. It's like the most made up name.
They're probably like, let's not call him Joe.
Well,
and
Joseph. Not to jump in on the story, but just very worth mentioning. These texts, according to him, were only visible with magic glasses that God gave him. That's true.
So but they have like these papers that you can actually get that were like written by the guy who did this, and they found some of them, and like there are these people who collect them, and there was one that was secret because it's legit and it's real, and it states that that Joe didn't meet God, like he met like a white salamander, and so they kept it all secret because they're like, no one's gonna buy this. Like everyone's gonna see this is all the bullshit that it came from a fucking a salamander. So they just been like, nah, he didn't. It was a guy named Joe or something. But it's like, no, the whole story is based on a salamander, a silly salamander running around the park.
That's like you trying to push through the part of the bit you love, but nobody else does. They're like, just lose the salamander part already, man.
You're losing the crowd.
I love the writer's room on Mormonism. Just like, all right, no, this is too much. We've gone too far. Like this, we've jumped the shark on this one. Drop the salamander thing. Bury this. Don't let anyone see it.
I didn't finish like negotiating with each other. Like it's either no Coca-Cola or you don't mention the salad. We can't have both happening at the same time.
Right. You got to watch the doc though, because like people found out about this, and like when this thing was going on, people were murdered by like the Mormons who were trying to keep this all in. I didn't finish the documentary, and I was half asleep and mostly high when I watched it. But it's really interesting. I don't remember the name of the documentary, but I don't know. Just put it in Google.
I'd like to tell you guys a couple things before we go. Mike's got to leave. Real quick. I'll make it real quick. Greg and Anthony made a pilot. Super hilarious. It's called Under 1,000. You can watch it on what's it called?
Topic.com.
Topic.com. Go there, sign up, or get a 7-day free trial. Check it out. It's amazing. And then again, just for those of you that maybe don't listen to every episode, this is the last month of the Rad DudeCast. The Patreon will continue with the as yet unnamed amazing Greg Stone
Friday Night Greg named.
Friday Night Greg fucking named. So stay on board the Patreon. I urge you. But now is the time if you want to make a decision on that to do that. But I urge everyone to stay on board.
Just stay on board because I'm making so much good shit. Your pants are going to be on fire. It's all going to be hilarious. I promise. I've been putting a month into ideas. This is going to be some really great shit you're going to get.
Yeah, I have no doubt. All right. That's it for me.
Yeah, I'll just say something real quick. I just wanted to, a lot of people have said so many nice things when we mentioned that we were going to discontinue the podcast, and I just haven't been able to get to all the messages and comments. Sometimes I just put a like or a heart or whatever it is, and I go about my busy day feeding street cats. But I just wanted to say this is a blanket statement to everyone who supported the podcast over the years. Live from New York, it's Saturday night. I love you guys, and thank you so much for your support and all the kind words that you've said. It was very, very touching to read all those things. So I just want to say thank you. And also, I'll be in Salt Lake City, Utah with Sam Morrell, May 21st and 22nd.
Visiting the Salamander.
Yes, I'm gonna go pay homage to the Salamander.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
The Rad DudeCast is hosted by Anthony DeVito, Brendan Eyre, and Greg Stone. Original music by Brian Zippert. Produced by Mike Suarez. Executive producers Brendan Eyre, Greg Stone, and Anthony DeVito. Executive producers Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcasts.